What does it mean to study human behavior? A psychologist might say it's about understanding patterns in thoughts, emotions, and actions. A biologist might say it's about uncovering the evolutionary and physiological mechanisms that drive us. Martha McClintock, a pioneering researcher in human behavioral biology, brought these perspectives together, shaping our understanding of social influences on biology. Martha was born in 1947 in Pasadena, California. Raised in an intellectually rich environment, her father, Frank McClintock, was a mechanical engineer who encouraged curiosity and scientific exploration to Martha and her 3 younger siblings. While her mother, Mary McClintock, was a passionate naturalist who instilled in her a deep appreciation for the natural world. This combination of scientific rigor and observational intuition would become a defining feature of her career. Martha's childhood was shaped by the time she spent in Concord, Massachusetts, in a subdivision called Conanton. This area, rich in its culture, nature, and architecture, played an important role in Martha's value of a diverse community. Martha studied at Wellesley College, an all-women's college known for fostering strong, independent thinkers. Her education was not linear. She began with a major in molecular biology, and soon after changed it to philosophy, finally settling on psychology due to its broad range of content as well as its lower amount of classes required to graduate. As her education continued, she began to thrive, finding a passion for research. One day, she was sitting in on a discussion with several male researchers discussing pheromones in rats and how they were causing all female rats to menstruate at the same time. Martha recalls that, "Driven by curiosity despite my self-consciousness, I mentioned that the same thing happens in humans. Didn't they know that? All of them being male, they didn't. In fact, I got the impression that they thought it was ridiculous, but they had the courtesy to frame their skepticism as a scientific question. What is your proof? I said that it was what happened in my dormitory, and they said, unless you address it scientifically, that evidence is worthless." It was then that she conducted what became one of the most famous undergraduate research projects in history, observing and documenting the synchronization of menstrual cycles among women living in her dormitory. She found evidence that cycles of roommates and close friends were more in sync with each other than others. Her findings were significant enough that E.O. Wilson, famous sociobiologist and ecologist known for his book, The Theory of Island Biogeography, and his studies of pheromone communication between ants, pushed her to submit her senior thesis to the prestigious journal Nature and have it published. Menstrual Synchrony and Suppression was published in Nature in 1971, when Martha was just 23 years old. After this phenomenal success, Martha continued her academic journey at the University of Pennsylvania, where she pursued a PhD under Norman Alder, who was her director that played a large role in shaping and influencing her outlook, focusing on behavioral endocrinology. Unlike traditional research that relied on laboratory-bred rats, McClintock insisted on studying wild Norway rats in naturalistic environments. She constructed intricate enclosures that allowed the animals to interact in realistic ways, revealing that female rats regulated their reproductive cycles through social and chemical cues. These findings emphasize the profound role of social interaction in shaping physiological processes. McClintock's work was not without controversy. When she first proposed that menstrual cycles could synchronize due to social interactions, many scientists dismissed her findings as anecdotal or flawed. Her research faced criticism from some scientists who argued that her findings were based on statistical coincidences rather than clear biological mechanisms. Over the years, replication studies produced mixed results, leading some in the scientific community to question the robustness of her conclusions. While some experiments supported the existence of menstrual synchrony, others failed to find significant effects, fueling an ongoing debate about the phenomenon's validity. Despite this controversy, McClintock's research laid the groundwork for future studies on human pheromones and social regulation of hormones. She extended her work beyond menstrual cycles, exploring how social bonds influence puberty, reproductive success, and aging. Her study showed that isolated female rats entered reproductive senescence earlier than those in social groups, drawing parallels to the effects of loneliness on human health. She researched the impact of human olfaction on mate selection, discussing the results with Bill Nye on an episode, The Eye of Nye.
What we did was we got 6 people here in Chicago, 6 men, that were of completely different ethnic backgrounds. They were Ashkenazi Jew, Indian Sikh, Scottish, Swiss, as different and complex a background as you could. And we tested to find out what the genes were of those donors. So we had this box here, like this.
Precision instrument.
This precision instrument here. We had t-shirts that men had worn for 2 nights in a row. And we gave the women the box to smell, and we gave them 2 at a time.
And then the women are picking a smell that they prefer. If they had to smell it all the time,
right,
this is the one they'd want.
Right. And so what we found was that in all but 3 cases, the women ranked more highly, they preferred, they chose scents from men who had genes that matched some of their own.
From the study, Martha was able to infer that human olfactory ability could sense differences in immune system genes, and that women preferred men who had similar genes to their own. Her career was also shaped by the challenges she faced as a woman in science. When she entered the field, psychology and biology were overwhelmingly male-dominated disciplines. She encountered skepticism not only about her research, but about her ability to contribute meaningfully to the field. There were many times that she felt looked down upon as a scientist because of her gender. Nevertheless, she persevered, securing a position at the University of Chicago, where she would spend the rest of her career paving the way for females in the field of science. In 1999, McClintock founded the Institute for Mind and Biology at the University of Chicago, an interdisciplinary research center designed to explore the complex interactions between behavior, neuroscience, and endocrinology. The institute, constructed with a total cost of $12 million, including $2 million from the NSF, provided state-of-the-art facilities where scientists could study biological processes in socially relevant context. It was designed to support interdisciplinary research, allowing experts in psychology, neuroscience, and endocrinology to collaborate in a dynamic environment. Unlike traditional laboratories, which often isolated research subjects in sterile environments, the Institute prioritized naturalistic settings, allowing researchers to examine behavior in ways that closely mirrored real-life interactions. The Institute also played a crucial role in mentoring young scientists. McClintock was deeply committed to fostering a new generation of interdisciplinary researchers, integrating psychology, biology, and social sciences into a cohesive field. Her students and colleagues describe her as an inspiring mentor who encouraged bold, unconventional thinking. The collaborative environment she cultivated at the Institute continues to influence research on social determinants of health, aging, and reproductive biology. McClintock's impact extends beyond academia. She was a vocal advocate for addressing health disparities, particularly in women's health. She co-founded the Center for Interdisciplinary Health Disparities Research, which sought to understand why Black women experience higher mortality rates from breast cancer than white women. Her research linked social stressors to physiological outcomes, emphasizing that biological health cannot be separated from environmental and societal factors. Martha McClintock's legacy is clear. She opened a door to a new way of thinking, one that recognizes the complex and dynamic relationship between human biology and social interaction. Her work reminds us that we are not just biological beings, but social ones, and that the connections we form shape us in ways that we are only beginning to understand.